Hey you guys, it's Dani and welcome to our first full look at Pear Tree Court. I'm so excited to finally show these to you guys. These are our final approved copy. It is in the final stages of production, so that means that it will be in the Etsy shop very soon. Links to that down below, and as soon as it is in and ready, I will also add the link to get your own copy of Pear Tree Court, but it is in the final stages and we are just impatiently waiting for them to get here and to finish hand making all of the bags, which I don't have a preview for yet. But if you follow me on Instagram at the Dani Mystic, or follow my Etsy store Instagram, which is at thewitchandthewild, I'm going to post and let you guys know as soon as those are in and as soon as the handmade bags are done, and we will go from there. But today I just wanted to flip through all the cards for you guys and give you a peek at the Pear Tree Court. Here it is, Pear Tree Court Oracle. I'm so excited to do a flip through for you guys. So I want to dive right in and then we'll kind of talk about it as we go, and I'll tell you about the cardstock and all the specs towards the end. So you'll see we have this crackle style. We have the pears on the back. Now on the front we have the same kind of crackle style throughout that I added to these fashion plates, and you'll notice there's all different tones throughout because I wanted to keep the same tones of the paper that they were created on. So these are fashion plates from the 1700s. Now you'll notice that there is a really diverse style throughout because the 1700s style changed all the time, right? It was some very big Marie Antoinette style hair and big dresses, as well as more towards what everybody calls that Jane Eyre style of dress. So you'll see a little bit of everything in here. So before we went on any further, I wanted to make sure that we were up close so we could see. Okay, so let's take a look at the cards. So you can actually see the difference in style right off the bat. The bustles, big hats, even the hair, versus the later 1700s, which had no bustle at all. So let's pop through here. So I created Pear Tree Court as I was waiting for Mystic Masters pre-orders and shipping and all that to come through. I had so much nervous energy that I decided to create this. I actually created it just for myself. I've always been obsessed with kind of 1700 style and Versailles and the story of not only the palace but the people inside since I was a teenager. And I came across some of these fashion plates while I was making Mystic Masters, and I kind of put them aside and I saved them, and I was like, you know what? I am going to make an oracle out of these. They're so expressive. Like, you don't really notice at first glance, oh, they're just, showing these dresses and, all this hair and all these ruffles. And then you really start paying attention to how absolutely expressive these little fashion plates are. And then to top it off, when I was creating the nursery for my little girl, I came across these fashion plates again, and I was like, oh my god, I want this in her nursery. So my little girl had fashion plates up, and that was kind of what I had in her nursery. So just kind of brought all that back and all that in. And so I was like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. And I tried to keep them as unaltered as I could. There were sometimes I had to clean up like spots that were on the paper just from age, or I had to fix sometimes the ground to lift them up if I could, or to kind of fix where the edges were because it didn't quite go, just so I could fit them on the card with the keyword. So there are a few alterations But I tried to keep them as pure as I could. Obviously, I added the crackle in the background and sometimes had to tone it in a way that would make sense. But I tried to keep them as pure as possible, I guess you could say. Going through and creating this, I just kept thinking about all the characters of these pictures, right? Of these drawings. And I imagined them all kind of being in the court of Versailles together, right? Because these are mostly French. And so thinking about that made me remember the book that I read ages ago, which is titled Versailles. It's kind of about the palace itself and the gardens and things of that nature. I'll put a link for it down below if anybody's interested. But I started thinking about that, and I remembered them talking about Louis XIV's orchards, right? And he had this pear tree orchard that was created by his friend Jean-Baptiste de la Continie. And he loved this gardener. They were really good friends. And there's a whole section about this pear tree orchard. And so I thought that it would be perfect to call this Pear Tree Court. It just had this dainty ring to it, and I could imagine everyone kind of mingling in these gardens and this orchard all together, and kind of the messiness and deceit and love and beauty that would all be involved in a space like this. So that's how this all kind of came about. I didn't really know if I was going to put this out, but everyone seemed to love it, so I was like, well, let's do this then. Now there are 54 cards in here. 51 of them are all in this same kind of tone. And then I have 3 at the end that I kind of added in originally, kind of like for myself. Like I put those last 3 in to kind of hold space for different things. So once we get there, I'll kind of talk about why I did what I did there. And y'all know how I love medieval animals, but you'll see an animal or two in here. They're not as crazy as medieval, but they're so cute. And I did love the tone, just the kind of muted, soft colors that kind of went through all of these. They just hit me in the right spot, you know what I mean? Okay, here we go, our last 3. So let's start with the past. Now these were some curtains in these fashion plates from the time of Marie Antoinette. And when I saw this, it immediately made me think of kind of looking into the past. Like you could almost imagine yourself sitting on this chair and gazing out of this window at the world beyond. And it really made me think about how we kind of sit and look through other centuries, right? And kind of put ourselves in the past, not only our own past, but the past of our ancestors and beyond, right? And I just thought that this was a great representation of that. It immediately made me feel that way. And so I wanted to include this as one of the cards. Then Marie Antoinette. When it comes to Marie Antoinette, she is one of those figures in history, just as Elizabeth I is for me, and Henry VIII, and all of these big historical figures, right, that kind of catch our attention. She is so incredibly interesting to me because I feel like there's a huge dynamic between the person, the royal, and the kind of villain-esque nature that kind of surrounded her and who she was and what's true and what's not. And there was just so much intrigue when it came to Marie Antoinette. And so I wanted to put her in here as kind of that marker for being whatever you needed her to be. If you need her to be the villain, she can be the villain for you. If you need her to be the fashion forward royal, then that's what she could be for you as well. She could also be, right, this royal who removes all of this kind of decadence and extraness and puts on a sundress and lives in a country setting, right? She can be whoever she needs to be for you. Whatever Marie Antoinette persona you need, you can place upon her within the deck, right? That will depend on what she will bring, is how you see her yourself. And for me, that's ever changing. So it would depend on how I pull her in a spread, or where and how she comes up would depend for me what I'm going to see and feel from this card. So that's Marie Antoinette. And then we have Versailles itself. So this is an image of the orchard at Versailles. And I thought that it was a really great little nod to kind of what took me there in the first place and what kind of guided me to these fashion plates and then this whole oracle itself. I could just imagine all of these characters within this space. So I wanted to create and have a card for this space. A space for socializing and for happiness and joy and beauty and comfort, right? So for me, I wanted to have something that kind of depicted some of the orchards of Versailles and the fountains and the pools, right? And just having all of the characters that you can kind of see sprinkled throughout. Again, Versailles, I wanted to be used as kind of whatever you need it to be. That space of comfort and beauty, that place that feels like home. Or maybe it feels like overwhelm. Or maybe it feels like manipulation, right? You have all of these people here. They can go hide and, have secret plots and kind of whatever you want it to be. Even if that's just a path working card. I wanted something that you could sit and see the space that I imagine these characters in, right? And kind of explore that for yourself and have that open interpretation. So I do have a little guidebook that's going to be a little foldable guidebook that is going to be in Pear Tree Court, that is going to have some little few lines for each, just kind of basic guides, but I wanted it to be something that you could literally just take out of the bag and use. You don't need this little guidebook. You don't need to know anything at all. You can pull these out and go strictly on the keywords. That was really important to me. As an intuitive reader, I didn't want anything complicated, right? I want ease out of an oracle. However, if you want to know just some little tidbits about each card, I will have that little guidebook tucked right in. So, okay, I wanted to bring this back out while we talk cardstock, right? So this is 300 GSM cardstock. These are blue core, and it has the same matte style finish as Mystic Masters. These are also going to be tarot sized. So we'll have our standard tarot. These are going to be the same size as the standard tarot. And again, it's a durable finish. Really great pop to it. I find they shuffle really well. Riffle shuffle, or even hand over hand. I know some people like to shuffle this way. I just find they move very well, and feel really nice in the hand. So thanks for watching, you guys. Let me know what you guys think of Pear Tree Court. Leave some comments down below. I'm always excited to see what you guys think. And if you're looking for me, all my links are going to be down below. It is my Instagrams, my Etsy shop, how to book a reading, 3 Fat Readers, Mystic Masters, and soon to be Pear Tree Court. So check out those links down below. And as always, I'm sending you all my love. Talk soon. Later, Gators.